So for this process, we're going to be using our latest drawing, the witch cats. A good way to begin is by moving the sketch to one side so it's available and filling the background in with a mid-toned neutral colour such as this greyish blue. Having a toned backdrop for your colour designs is a good way to get the full effect of the tones that you'll be working with. Depending on what the design is for, it's highly unlikely that the character will be consistently propped against a pure white backdrop. We need a darker colour to imitate a CG background so we know exactly what the hues are going to look like. I'm going to work on two different colour ideas quickly. As you can see, I've plotted out two separate palettes that I want to use. These colours can change as we go along, but this is just to keep us on track. When working on the final character, it's probably best to test 4 or more different schemes, but for the purpose of this lesson, we're going to keep things simple. So here I'm using the silhouette sketch I drew in the previous lesson, and I'm going to use this blackout to help me with my colour design. I'm going to be creating 2 separate speed paints, so I've pasted the layer twice as you can see here. First thing I want to do is lock the transparent pixels on the layer I'll be working on, like this. And that way we're painting directly onto the pixels and not beyond. It's just on the work that we've done already. So if I show you, as you can see, it doesn't pass the pixels that we've already coloured in. So using this palette, I'm just going to begin using the colours that I've chosen just to get an idea of the colours I might be using for the final design. And like I mentioned before, we can obviously change these colours slightly to work with what we're doing. And you'll get an idea pretty quickly of whether or not you like this colour design. Working with a bigger brush helps, just to be quick. So the quickest way to jump between these colours is by using the eyedrop tool. And I think on the Mac, if you press Alt with the brush, it automatically puts it to that tool while you're holding the button down. And as soon as you release, it jumps back to the brush again, which is really helpful. Take reference from the sketch as you go along. I'm going to swap these colours around because I think I prefer it this way. Have the cape orange instead. Maybe not. Red? No, I think these 2 oranges are a little too bright for this design, so I'm going to tone them down. There we go. And when you change the color, it's a good idea to make a reference of that. So if we go back to the palettes layer, I'm just going to keep that color that I've changed it to there for my use later on. Like that. So there's one very, very quick color design, and I'm going to move on to this one now. Make sure you're on the new layer. I'm just going to jump forward through this process, get this done nice and quick. Okay, so after playing around with these 2 color schemes, I've decided that I like the second version I've painted a little better, and I'm going to use that for my final sketch. So on a new document, where I've already darkened the background and I've pasted the sketch and chosen color theory, I'm going to begin filling in my design. So I'm going to create a new layer beneath the sketch layer, right here, and I'm naming it color. And from here, I'm just jumping between the brush and the eyedropper tool to start off with. I'm just going to fill in this sketch. So I'm just going to start off with a fur. Try and keep it within the lines, but there's no extreme pressure to get this perfect. It's still a sketch, you have to remember. Keep in mind that changes can always be made later on to the color. So if we do finish this up and it's still not quite to the way we want it, it's not too difficult just to make quick changes. Or too time consuming because we're not spending too long on this. So with the pattern of fur, just gonna use feathered brush strokes just to create that fur texture very roughly. Working with two colors, such as I am with this ash purple and this cream, it's a good idea to have each color on the foreground and the backgrounds of this palette up here. And by pressing X, you can jump between them, so it just makes it a lot easier. Don't have to worry too much about the eyedropper. So I'm just bringing this cream tone to a few different places on the pads and the fingers, just to make more of an emphasis on the cat-like design. I'm trying to keep it quite simple because I don't really want the hands to be too distracting. And now for the eyes. I think I'm going to have the eyes a bright orange. Just so we stick to this color scheme. Remember that this fabric here is semi-transparent, so I'm just gonna try and create that by using a light brush stroke. I'm going to double it in intensity on the parts where it overlaps, such as here. Going to the black now. A good idea is not to use complete black. Alright, so filling in this drawing with flat colors may take a short while, so I'm just going to jump forwards through the process, and all I'm doing really is using the swatches to get everything colored in. Okay, so here we go, I've just put the colors in. And what I'm going to do now is go to Image, Adjustments, and then Color Balance. I'm just going to play with these levels a little bit, just to see if I like any differences that I can make with this. So the shadows, I'm going to make a little bit more blue. And then the highlights maybe a little bit more yellow, just to bring the color of the fur and the orange through. Press OK when you're happy, and by jumping from the undo button you can see changes you've made. And yeah, I think I'm happy with this new color design, so I'm going to leave it with that. Okay, so here we are, a completed sketch and color design. In the next lesson, we'll focus more on developing our character and showing the range of their personality through quick sketches and drawings.